Greetings, B-movie aficionados.
Hello, welcome to A Couple of Flicks. I am Tristan.
I'm Nick.
And I'm Zach.
And we finally at last come to our Snoop Dogg special.
Here we go.
Yeah, it took us a little time, we had to we'll get to the why, but it's been a long time coming. There's been a lot of build up, so we've got to deliver on the special stuff. But before we get into what
I just said, yeah.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, exactly. Because Hood of Horrors, I think the average person would agree, it leaves you thirsty for more. But anyway, so before we get into that, do you guys want to talk about anything you've seen recently?
I finally saw French Dispatch.
Oh, cool.
Lucky. Or is it out now on streaming right now?
Yeah, it's on streaming, and the Blu-ray's out now too.
Oh, okay. Shit, I gotta see that.
Yeah. It's not my favorite Wes Anderson, but it's still enjoyable.
Yeah.
Like, Wes Anderson's already got a lot going on, and for him to do an anthology, it was just like, it's a lot.
Yeah, I mean, even when Wes Anderson is telling one story, it's always a lot to take in. So, I mean, yeah, so that times triple is basically French Dispatch.
Yeah. The format was pretty cool though, like newspaper articles. So
yeah,
it was interesting.
Yeah, I think that's kind of, in my opinion, the stuff that was happening at the newspaper was really like, that was sort of what kept me like really captivated. And it cut back enough to it. Like it cut to it often enough that it really kind of felt like that was sort of like the main story, really, but like it still, like the I like the first story a lot. The first story was really cool, and if that had been like a feature length movie, that would have been interesting.
Yeah. I kind of would have liked to see it instead of like it's different writers doing something, like maybe one writer going to these different people or something like that. I don't know. It'd still be a lot either way.
Yeah, I can imagine that being pretty funny though. Yeah, it's worth seeing.
I plan on seeing it. I love Wes Anderson, so.
Yeah. Did you watch anything?
Me, I watched The Matrix. Finally, I got to it.
Nice. Okay. Well,
yeah.
What do you want to share your thoughts? Or?
I didn't think it was that bad.
Excellent. All right.
Like the most disappointing thing definitely was the action. Like,
yeah,
fight scenes were garbage. Anything action related was just looked like shit. I don't know how they did that, why they did, because like, the first one's known for its awesome action scenes. What happened? I mean, like, they obviously didn't get the same people to choreograph or whatever, I'm assuming. So
yeah, it's not like Keanu Reeves can't do that. He's still doing John Wick, so
right, he's still doing crazy shit in that. Yeah, so I don't know what happened, but yeah,
I don't want to think it was an intentional choice. I don't think it was, but I'm wondering though, because I mean, like, a lot of action movies these days have been sort of disappointing like that. Like, maybe it's just me, but it kind of feels like a lot of action movies these days like don't have the same sort of like, they don't have the same punch that they used to. Like movies, like action movies in the 80s and 90s, like, and I'm not going to say that either of those decades had like nothing but masterpieces, but I felt like a lot of 80s and 90s action movies had a real sense of like momentum and gravity to them. And even the first three Matrix movies like still had that kind of thing as well. But this one has the same kind of issue that a lot of action movies today have, is that just the fight scenes sort of don't feel like it didn't feel like there was much at stake, but at least for me. But
Yeah.
Yeah,
the
I think
fight, but putting the oh yeah.
I think like lower budget movies have better action scenes than the big budget stuff nowadays.
Yeah, I was wondering
Yeah.
about the budget of this movie. 'Cause some of
Yeah.
it, like also the CG and shit, looked pretty shitty as well in some parts.
Yeah,
But
I can't. I have no idea what the budget was. I'm curious. But I think also, well, okay, putting the action aside, um, like, what were your thoughts about everything else?
I loved basically everything else. It was pretty
Okay.
cool.
Okay, that's good.
I loved the meta shit. I wish they just went in hard with that, even harder than they did.
Yeah.
Um, I thought, yeah, like it was just interesting, but I was of course confused at a lot of Matrixy type shit. Like,
Yeah.
and I think they could have made this into maybe like 2 movies. I don't know if they're doing more or not, but like the characters in the real world that were saving Neo from the Matrix this time, I didn't have any connection to them at all. Like,
Yeah.
they didn't set them up; they were just kind of there and shit. So I was just really only caring about Neo and Trinity. So that was kind of a letdown in there.
Yeah.
But like, why did they need to save him? I don't know specifically. Maybe they said something, but it seemed like the real world was doing well in that new IO place. They were growing
Yeah.
strawberries and shit. They were peaceful with the machines. They
Yeah.
had some peace pact. I don't like
They
why
were
were they
using.
why were they wanting Neo out? I don't know.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm not quite sure what, because it's like it's no longer the one. Now it has to be like a pair of
Mhm.
people who are working together, which is cool. But I'm not quite sure what they're working together for. Like, I don't know it for the betterment of mankind, but if mankind is already coexisting with the robots, well, or maybe, I mean, humans are kind of using the machines as familiars, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah, they had some robot friends and shit.
Yeah. Yeah, the middle part of the movie is the part that I have like the most issue with, only because I had trouble following it. Like, it was sort of the same issue that I had with the other movies as well, but this one, it was weird because it kind of felt like there was a lot going on, and for like a movie that's almost 2.5 hours, it kind of felt like a lot of the really interesting stuff was condensed a little bit. Like, I love the mirror stuff. I really would have loved to have seen them
Yeah,
kind of
that was
delve more.
cool.
Yeah. And the thing with the robot familiars, like, it was kind of cool that they used the robots to sort of take Trinity out, and spoiler, whatever, take Trinity out and kind of set up like a situation where they can eject her in a way that wouldn't kill her, while Neo kind of pulled her out and all that stuff. And the third part of the movie, even though the chase scene didn't touch the car pileup scene in Matrix Reloaded, there were some cool ideas and some original
Yeah, I
ideas.
liked the bodies that were dive bombing. That was cool.
That was really intriguing, because I at first thought it's like, oh, that's really messed up, but then it's like, well, okay, but in real life we use drones and we have used like machine bomb technology before. Like, it's not that, I mean, it makes sense that if we can do that with the machines, and the machines find some battery use for mankind and are able to create simulated versions of them that they can just use as weaponry if they want to, like, it makes sense that they would do that. So like, that concept was like, whoa, that's a new idea. So that was cool. Yeah, that's a good example. I like seeing Trinity do her bicycle kick again. That was cool.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
was nice.
that made me happy. It was interesting that Niobe kind of turned into her superior from the third movie, the second and third movie, who was always like trying to take charge, and he was kind of the big douchebag, and she sort of ended up kind of busting his balls a little bit by lending her ship to Neo and Trinity, which then they ended up trashing it. So I guess now when I think about that, now I understand why she kind of turned into a giant maniacal angry lady who kind of goes against the hero a little bit, but not enough to sort of destroy the plot. What do you think of the
Yeah.
Merovingian?
The what?
The Merovingian. What do you think of him? Like,
Who's which one's that?
the guy when they went the first time back in to get Trinity, and he's that one dude in the warehouse who he looks like that. He's like that crazy French like homeless dude who's like,
Oh,
going
right,
ballistic.
those
He's
dudes.
like
I was confused. What were those? I didn't
he was
remember
like
that.
he was a discarded program who is essentially malformed.
Okay,
Like, and
that was cool. I mean, that was interesting, but that fight scene was probably the worst with all of
yeah,
them. Like there was like just a shot of like them just kind of standing around, just kind of throwing punches and shit, like
yeah.
really poorly. And I was like, this is bad.
It was shot. It was edited so quick to make it look like that, but they couldn't. They couldn't cover the fact that it was like these people were barely even hitting each other. It
Yeah,
was really weird.
See the red letter media's half in the bag for that one.
yeah. That's what made me
Not
watch
yet.
it, basically.
I haven't watched it yet.
They tore that scene apart. It was funny.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
That's good. I knew they reviewed it, but I saw the runtime and it's like almost an hour or something. I'm like, ugh.
Yep.
Okay, I'll wait on that for a little while, But
Yeah, I
yeah.
liked how they did say they should have called it rebooted,
Yeah.
which would make more sense. Totally. Yeah.
I agree. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Do you have any more thoughts about it at the top of your head, or?
Yeah, I thought. Well, I mean, I think they probably should have made it into two. Like the first one, them setting up the characters, the new characters, and saving Neo, and then maybe the second one would be saving Trinity and shit like that.
That would have been cool. I think if I had made it, I would have focused a lot more on the psychological potential there of living in the Matrix, but not knowing for sure, and just kind of leading, like, just going with that and just like waiting, building up the, and also it would have been more like a part in the Animatrix, only like to feature like it would have been more in line with what they were going for in that. So that would have been, I don't know, I would have liked that.
And I liked how they like shat on them having to make this movie.
Yeah,
That was funny shit.
that was funny. I did like the montage. I liked a lot of that stuff. Did you like Neil Patrick Harris?
Oh yeah, he was great. He was awesome. He was so good.
Yeah, I liked watching him getting beat, like busted up at the end.
Yeah, at the end,
that was interesting. I was like, "Oh, okay, yeah."
Yep.
The
She
analyst.
kicked his jaw off.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't they like shank him in the throat too or something?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's hardcore. Yeah, the Matrix movies don't mess around. Yeah, I don't know. I'd watch it again, but I gotta. I'm still processing it. I really don't know how to feel about the movie overall, because I really didn't hate it. I just, I don't think it deserves the level of bile that it's receiving.
Yeah, that's what I was, because I went in with real low expectations, like even before it was released. Then everyone's saying it was shit, just lowered them even further. And then I went in and watched it and had a good time. I don't know, maybe a little long, but like, good, fun. I don't know. Yeah, the dialogues at parts sucked and shit like that, but
I'm also sort of still kind of wondering how to feel about the reuse of footage. Like, I guess it's not.
I liked that a lot.
Yeah, because in a way, like, you could say, like, okay, these are like, maybe it's video game footage, but then you could also say, or maybe these are his memories that he was trying to recreate. Like, I don't know. Maybe it's about that, but then it gets confusing when they start to actually use the literal footage. Like, I mean, it was still interesting though to sort of. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how to feel about it. I guess it's the same way I feel about the second and third one. And also, my dad, he saw this movie in the theater, and he actually liked it more than the sequels. So
at this moment, I do. Like, I'd have to probably rewatch the sequels, but like coming out of the sequels, I was disappointed on both of them, and I only maybe watched them once when they came out on DVD, and it's been so long since I've seen them. But I like this one right out of the theater.
Yeah.
Unlike the other two.
Yeah, I think maybe maybe the lowered expectations helped a lot. Like maybe,
Yeah.
yeah, I think the average person needs to find a little bit more of a neutral platitude with these movies, just because like
Yeah.
really all of them have issues, you know, but it's just,
Yeah.
that's just how it
Except
goes,
for the
you know?
first one.
Yeah, I mean, the first film, I guess one could argue this structurally, you know, having one plot going and then throwing into another one might put some people off, but I don't know anybody
It
who was
worked.
bothered
I
by
thought it
so,
works though. So
yeah. Yeah, the first film's great. And it's aged really well, honestly. It really
yeah, I
has.
was like, that was one thing too. When they were showing the footage, I was like, what the fuck? This shit looks better than what we're watching. I'm
Yeah.
like, this old footage looks better than this fucking garbage we're watching now. What the fuck happened in 20 years?
Yeah, the color scheme was gone. It
What the
definitely
fuck?
was noticeably lower quality, which is unusual. Like I don't know. I don't know. It did kind of make me want to just rewatch the other movies.
Yes, me too. It made me want to watch
Yeah.
the first one again. I was like, oh, I remember that shit. That was great.
Yeah. I'm telling you, Lana Wachowski, she did it on purpose. She's trying to
I think she did.
piss people off. Yeah.
I think
Like,
she did. I think she was just fucking with everyone on this movie.
yeah. Like I kind of think in a way there's like a weird prank quality to, which I kind of admire.
I do too. Absolutely. I think she
Yeah.
did it on purpose, especially with that whole like Warner Brothers, like, because I guess Warner Brothers was
Yeah.
actually going to go through with it and gave her that ultimatum of, we're going to do it with or without you. So she said, okay, I'll do it.
Yeah, which is interesting. Like and also I guess like her I guess she had some family tragedy, like her parents died or something. So like so I think
Yeah.
she was also kind of grieving through making this, is what I remember seeing an interview where she said something like that. So
Yeah. Yeah. I heard
Okay.
that.
Yeah. Anyway, interesting stuff. Yeah, no, I like it. But okay, I should probably quickly talk about what I saw. Just off the top of my head. I did watch the English horror movie Censor.
Oh, I want to see that. It's been on my
Yeah.
list.
I actually found it really scary. It's very, very slow. You kind of have to wait for like a good hour before a whole lot happens. But I thought the payoff was like, I don't know, like it really creeped me out. And I was surprised by I was actually surprised by how affected I was by it. Like once it was over, I was like, ugh, you know.
That was a pretty good ending.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah, you saw it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you like it overall?
Yeah. I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd say it's worth watching. So.
Yeah, definitely.
Damn, yeah, I do want to see it. It's on my list. Did it come out this year?
Yes.
Because I gotta watch some movies that came out this year. I haven't seen many.
All right. Yeah. See if you can track it down. You know.
Yeah, I think it might be on Shudder or something.
Okay.
Oh yeah, there we go. Yeah, it's worth watching. I really liked it. So. All right. So I guess we got to talk about these Snoop Dogg pictures. So yeah.
Oh, okay.
So it's yeah, so we'll see how this goes, but I'd say yeah, well, let's start with your choice, Zach.
Yeah.
Because yeah, we gotta wade in slowly. So
My choice was The Wash, 2001.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and why, and just out of curiosity, why did you choose this one?
I don't think I've seen Dr. Dre in many things, so I was curious about that too.
Yeah, that was the part that I was most compelled by as well. It's like, ooh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was the main character. So
Yeah. That I didn't expect, but it's like whatever, you know.
all right, yeah, I'm just gonna read the plot summary here.
Okay.
Sean, Dr. Dre, and D-Loc, Snoop Dogg, are roommates who have not paid their rent, and their landlord's given them a 3-day eviction notice. To make matters worse, Sean has just lost his job at Foot Locker due to a layoff, which was the whole intro of the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't really get that. I was just like, it felt like a music video they were putting for in front of the credits. I didn't know that was
Yeah.
like, I didn't know that was a part of the story until like he said, "Oh yeah, I worked at Foot Locker."
Yeah.
Yeah, they get that out of the way immediately. It's like, okay.
Should have just had that as a scene before the credits, but whatever.
Yeah, would have
Yeah.
made it less
Yeah.
confusing, but that's all right. Yeah.
And his car has a boot on it as well. So D-Lo suggests his roommate stop by the same car wash where he works and apply for work there.
Yeah.
Sean is immediately hired as assistant manager, with Chris, played by Eminem, have been fired the day before.
Yeah. This
Yeah,
is pretty much the
I loved
oh,
that.
yeah. That was my favorite part of the movie was Eminem.
Yeah, at first I didn't like. They didn't really say like it was Chris that was doing these because he's prank calling him and then prank calling the boss throughout the movie. I was like, oh hey, it's Eminem being crazy. That's cool. I didn't realize it was it was the employee they fired for Dre.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't get mentioned till the end, I don't think.
Yeah, no,
It doesn't even become important until the end.
no. I was just like, why is Eminem calling
thought-
him and threatening him? What's going on here?
Just thought it was like a running gag that they were gonna do.
Yeah, because this movie was supposed to be a comedy.
Yeah.
I didn't really laugh at all.
No.
It was
No,
a fine little story of friends and whatever with Snoop Dogg and Dre, but I didn't laugh that much.
I would say there was comedic potential in this plot.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
would go that far.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was gonna be like a straight buddy stoner comedy movie, but
Yeah, yeah,
for like 90% of the movie, Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre hated each other.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like there's no comedy there.
No.
Well, maybe for some people, but I didn't find anything that
I
funny.
mean,
Yeah.
there could have been, but they weren't really like doing any funny jokes. They were just Snoop Dogg was pissed at Dre, and
Yeah.
Dre was pissed at Snoop Dogg.
Yeah. It's like they sleep with each other's like. I mean, like he sleeps with like his girlfriend or something. Like.
And Snoop Dogg is just trying to get high. You know?
Yeah.
selling at the car wash.
Yeah. Which is. I mean, I guess I should have expected that, but up until the conflict starts happening, for literally pretty much no reason other than to have something happen in this movie, I guess.
Yeah.
I wasn't minding this movie. Like I thought it, it could have been leading somewhere. So
Yeah. It could have been so much better.
yeah. And
Yeah.
pretty much nothing happens in it throughout the rest of it until the end, and it's like okay. And,
Yeah,
and also like correct me if
there were also just a lot of cool cameos too. Yeah,
I like the cameos that I did
Yeah.
appreciate.
Pauly Shore was my favorite.
yeah, that was funny shit.
Yeah, Pauly
That
Shore
was
my
maybe
favorite
one of the
too.
only jokes in the movie.
Yeah, and they open
Yeah.
the truck. Yeah.
Yeah.
But correct me if I'm wrong, but the story of this movie only takes place over the course of like a couple days or something.
3 days,
3
Yeah.
days. Okay.
because they got that 3-day eviction notice, and
Okay.
he was just trying to work to get that money to pay it.
Did they ever
Alright.
pay it? I don't remember. I don't think that was said.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It just
I don't think they brought
yeah,
that
the way it ended, they didn't really just
Like,
ended there.
That seemed like the main plot point, but then it's like, oh, we'll do this other thing.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Tommy
Anyway,
Chong. That was
Oh,
funny.
Yeah,
yes.
that was good.
I was like, is that Tommy Chong? He looks so different. It sounded like him. It looked a lot like him, but I was like, I still had to check IMDb. Is that actually him, or is
Yeah.
it just someone playing him?
Yeah, I thought the same thing at first too. Then the voice, I'm
was-
like, it's got to be, yeah.
Yeah, the voice, but still, it looked so much different. I
So-
don't know why.
Okay, so this marks how many Tommy Chong appearances on this podcast? Like, because I know he was in Evil Bong, and then wasn't he in something else that we watched? Or maybe I'm thinking of.
It might have been.
Yeah. Well, I guess I don't know. Maybe it'll come to us. But that was funny though. Like he was the guy who sold them. He's like, I can't sell you. No, what did he say?
Yeah, he couldn't he couldn't
Oh.
sell Snoop weed directly, but he would
Right.
sell him pipes or bongs with weed free given to him.
Yeah.
Which is what people are doing today, and to bypass like certain actual legal retail shops and shit.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like I know one of my friends in Boston, there's like a company that sells t-shirts for $250 or something. You get like an ounce.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
But yeah, there do you want to keep reading the plot summary or
Yeah, were you gonna say something?
I don't remember. But yeah, Tommy Chung. Did you figure anything, like if he was in something else we watched, or am I just crazy?
Not that I can see.
Okay, I'm just crazy then.
No, it definitely seemed like he was in a few, but
Yeah.
Well, at least he was in this one.
yeah.
lighten the mood of these bummed out bros, basically.
Yeah. I think okay, so the ending, that whole plot, before we get to it reminded me of the end of Good Burger.
Yeah.
Like it was the exact same plot.
I mean, does Snoop Dogg like Good Burger? I wonder. Like that might be a Google question. Hey Siri or Alexa or whatever. Like somebody could ask that question. You know, if anybody at home's watching, ask her if Snoop Dogg. Ask her if Snoop Dogg likes Good Burger. Starring Keenan.
I don't remember Good Burger. I know I
Iverson.
watched it, but I don't remember. I was so young when I watched it.
Yeah, I think I saw it on Nickelodeon when it.
I mean, I
premiered.
liked the skits and
Nickelodeon
shit, of
premiere.
course. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, released on Blu-ray last year. I was like, what the fuck?
Oh, huh.
Whoa, that's nuts.
Yeah.
That's cool. All right. Do you have it?
Yeah, it doesn't age too well, but
Yeah.
still good for nostalgia, I guess.
Yeah,
Oh.
nostalgia. Like the Three Ninjas.
Yeah.
Oh,
I was gonna say a joke that Tommy Chong was a part of. He
Yeah.
was gonna charge him 5,000 for all the weed, but then it was like Snoop was like, "No, 500," and then he just gave him all of it for 500 instead.
Yeah.
yeah,
I was like, "Shit, you're trying to upsell him bad."
that was hysterical.
Yeah,
Just like the
Yeah.
little bike he was on.
yeah. He was like, "Oh my nuts."
Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. So the ending. Or wait, did you want to keep reading the plot summary, or did you just want to like?
Yeah, I'll
is it not
keep reading. It
Okay.
kind of just skips the whole middle of the movie. But
Oh, okay. Well then, never
I
mind.
mean, not much happens. So
Yeah.
Just
All right,
people
cool.
at a car wash, basically.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Doesn't he put Windex on whose tires was it?
One of the other characters does, yeah.
Yeah.
It was on Ludacris's tires,
Yeah.
though.
That's it. That was what I was trying to think of. Yeah, that was funny. I laughed at that. Ludacris was like, "Yo, he put Windex on my tires." It was like, "Oh shit."
yeah. I didn't expect that because I don't think they've done much music together.
Exhibit
Yeah.
was there too.
Yeah.
Oh
Shut
yeah,
up.
Exhibit was in this movie.
I was waiting for a Pimp My Ride reference, but I don't know if that's too early.
2001. I don't know. Maybe.
I think that was too early. I think Pimp
Yeah.
My Ride might have been the following year, 2002. I think that's when Pimp My Ride was. I don't know. Hey Alexa. No, I'm just kidding. But all right. So yeah, you can keep reading.
Yeah. Though D-Loc has the full amount for the rent from dealing drugs on the side, he refuses to pay, insisting Sean needs to be responsible and come up with his half. Sean does his best to impress Mr. Washington, the owner of the car wash, so he can hold his job long enough to come up with his half of the rent. At first, things go fine, but then D-Loc is caught on tape stealing. Mr. Washington tells Sean he must decide what to do, including firing his roommate.
What did he steal? We don't know.
It just said supplies.
Supplies. Yeah, that's all they said was supplies. Like, what
Yeah.
does Snoop need in a car wash?
I know, that's what I'm curious about. Like, what was like that? I guess that's just going to be forever a mystery. Like Marcellus Wallace's suitcase.
Yeah.
What were the supplies that Snoop Dogg need, or not Snoop Dogg, D-Loc.
What's in the box?
Yeah, exactly.
Sean tries to help D-Loc and act more responsible, but this creates friction between them. So then it just skips right to the kidnapping.
Yeah, they're hating on each other. I say it was warranted on both ends, but
yeah, I know both characters are kind of dicks.
yeah, they both needed to chill out. They both needed to smoke some of that weed and chill out.
Yeah, for real. For like, considering how Snoop Dogg and company, considering what we all know they do, there's surprisingly little actual recreational use in this. It kind of just, it hints at it. It's not like it's not in it, but it's very.
They do it quite a bit. I'd say they do it quite a bit.
I don't know. It didn't feel like it to me. Like,
yeah, less than you'd expect from Snoop Dogg.
That's fair. Yeah, less than you. But they were,
less than I would expect for a movie about people working at a car wash. Really,
yeah.
I guess.
Dre got pissed at Snoop for smoking on the job and shit.
Yeah, like, that's true.
He said, "Just be more discreet about it." Like that's one thing. Like that was driven, putting friction between them is that he was the boss. Snoop referred him, and now he's the boss of Snoop. So,
yeah,
he wasn't liking that, but Snoop was also being a bad employee. So it's like, come on, man, chill out.
That's true. And really, like, I guess the standard. I need to lower my standards because I think the standard that I'm working at, as far as like a movie where people just sit around doing nothing but smoking weed, at this point, it might be Evil Bong. So, because that movie was pretty much just. It was just nothing but almost, but yeah, whatever.
Yep. So yeah, it skips all the car wash shenanigans.
Okay, I'll say some of the car wash shenanigans. There was, one of them was they tried to do bikini washes and shit.
Yeah.
And then another cameo, Shaq. He shows up and knocks the fuck out of someone.
That was funny. I laughed. Oh yeah, okay. So Shaquille.
And then he looked at the camera too. Yeah. He looked right at the fucking camera.
Here's my question for both of you guys. What was Shaquille O'Neal's best performance? Was it in Shazam? Whatever that stupid Iron, whatever
Steel.
that movie was. Steel. Yeah. Or this. What was
this?
Shaquille O'Neal's best performance? Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Seemed like he was actually trying to act in this.
Exactly. That's what made it work.
Yeah.
Whereas
surprisingly.
Whereas in the Kazam movie, he's like, "Whoa, I'm Kazam," and in Steel, he's like, "I'm Steel."
Yeah.
Sucks. But in this, he at least punches somebody out, which is more badass than anything he does in those movies. Anyway, so unless you consider filling a room full of candy to be more badass than punching somebody out. Actually, I guess I do now that I think about it. Santa Claus, what a douchebag.
All right. Mr. Washington is kidnapped at gunpoint by two clueless and angry local thugs. One of whom is played by DJ Pooh, the director.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, surprise cameo. He's like the modern day Alfred Hitchcock.
And this happened 1 hour, 10 minutes into like a 1 hour, 30-minute movie.
Like, all right, I don't know what to do here. Let's just throw in this other plot to wrap it up.
Yeah, which I appreciated because finally something happened.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know if he was the one that was like the dumb one, but that guy was kind of funny.
Yeah, I think that was him. Yeah.
The whole like thing on the phone, like, hey, what? Oh yeah.
The phone call. They like hung up and called back to untrace their number.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was the funniest part of the movie was that character.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
definitely.
Yeah, so maybe that's the only reason he made it, was so that he could prove to the world that he was funnier than Snoop Dogg. So, yeah, good for him, I guess.
They call the car wash with their demands, unaware of caller ID, which reveals their location. Instead of calling police, Sean and D'Lo put aside their differences long enough to rescue their boss. The crisis worsens when former assistant manager Chris, I guess it just cuts right to this too.
Oh, okay.
Chris shows up with an AK-47, wanting revenge on Mr. Washington for firing him. Chris shoots one of the kidnappers, then shoots up the car wash and runs out of ammunition. Sean attacks Chris, but loses the battle and falls down. Before he could kill Mr. Washington, security officer Dwayne steps in and handcuffs Chris. When all is over, Sean and D-Loc walk off as Sean tells D-Loc he's trying his best to pay his half of the rent, but first he has to take the boot off his car.
Yeah. They went into detail in that last scene.
Yeah.
They skipped over the rest of the movie. Like that was like a minute-long scene of them coming and shooting people up. And
Yeah, that's so strange.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a part in between where that happened.
Yeah. So they go to rescue him, and they like use their female friends to, distract the kidnappers or whatever.
They
And-
straight up just leaves the house.
yeah, they just run out, and the security guard is there, and he, I don't know, drives them
Why would
back to the
kidnappers-
wash.
Yeah, why would kidnappers leave a house where their kidnapped victim is? Like, one person should at least be there.
One
I guess-
was there,
Oh yeah,
and then
never mind, you're right.
one was at the wash with Dre,
Okay,
waiting
all
for the
right, all right.
money.
You're right. Yeah, they thought through this movie.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just looking through my notes. Like I mean, pretty much everything you guys have said. I like. Yeah.
Yep. And yeah, so I read a little trivia that Eminem wasn't credited in this movie. Like
Really?
I even watched the credits. He wasn't in it because somebody wanted his first credited role to be 8 Mile.
Huh.
Which came out the next year, so it was definitely already in development and shit.
Yeah, maybe they
A
could.
little bit of trivia for you.
That's pretty cool. I didn't realize that. So
Yeah.
all right. So is this Marshall Mathers' acting debut?
Yeah, I think so.
All right, excellent.
But no credits, no, like yeah.
Well, that sucks. But I mean, at least now he can say that he was in it. Probably, like, it's been enough time. Like,
Yeah.
be like, all right, guys. Like, yeah, I mean, 8 Mile is cool and all, but before I did 8 Mile, I did something else called The Wash. Snoop Dogg's in it,
Yeah.
and my boy Dre.
It's basically one of his old skits.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Eminem. Yeah. There's the scene where where Dr. Dre is pleasuring himself, and Snoop Dogg's music is blaring. That was funny.
That was so weird.
I laughed.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, well.
Oh, and there's a weird thing that I noticed is that Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre were actual rappers in this world.
Yeah.
Because
that was
like they
weird.
were, there was like radio bits saying, "Oh, here's Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre's new hit," and they played, Dre like your songs.
Yeah.
You can hear out. But
Yeah,
no.
that was I was hoping they were going to go further with it, but I mean, I think they're in the end. I think it's important to at least comment a little bit on the reality that musicians, like a lot of them, if their goal in life is to be a musician and nothing else, like a lot of them do wind up kind of broke and unable to really get anywhere, only because you do kind of have to sacrifice your ability to actually be employed anywhere in order to be a successful, consistent musician. And it's especially true in the realm of hip hop, I would say. And so it was cool that they actually had that sort of be the background of the characters. But then they didn't really do much with it, which is I guess it's cool.
I
if
don't
they
think
at
it
least
was
admit
them. It wasn't them though, because they were like whatever their
Oh,
names were.
Oh, I know that they were playing
Yeah.
aliases. Yeah, they weren't actually literally playing themselves, but it was cool that like still they were playing broke musicians.
I don't think
because
they
that's
were
the reality.
musicians either, though. That wasn't the thing. It
Oh, they
wasn't ever
weren't. What were they
stated.
then?
Just people chilling. That's what
Oh,
I got.
okay. Okay, I thought that they were in the music. They were wanting to do music, like the
I never
character.
got that. I
Okay,
didn't get
so
that. Yeah.
oh,
I just
okay,
thought they were just two random dudes that
okay,
they was just like a
okay.
funny nod, a meta thing that
Yeah.
before the Matrix, it was a meta thing they put in this
All right.
fucking movie.
Okay, so I was just confused then watching because I was like, all right, that's interesting that their music is on the radio and yet they're still poor as shit and can't get
Yeah.
anywhere. Like,
No, it's just two different people, and yeah.
somehow I missed that detail. I don't know why.
I mean, their
Oh,
names
wow.
were completely different and shit. Yeah. So.
Yeah, somehow I missed it, but oh well. I mean, okay, I will admit I watched this one last of the three, so by this point, like Snoop Dogg, like my brain was so tired of Snoop Dogg movies, like, and so like by the time I got to this one, I was like, it was hard. It was a little tricky to get to stay invested, and I did manage to like stay pretty focused on it, but a lot of the details are a little like I forget who cheated on who first. Like,
No one cheated on anyone.
or well, nobody cheated, but there was like I forget who slept with who first and what was going on there. Like, so
Yeah. There wasn't much going on in the movie, so
yeah, it's easy to zone out during this one. The Wash, it's watchable, and that's really about all I can say.
Yeah,
barely.
Yeah, not very good.
Yeah, I gave it a 2.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'd give it a 2 as well.
Yeah. I think I'd give it a 2 as well, just for Eminem.
Yeah, he was the star.
Yeah.
Probably sure.
Oh yeah, gotta give Pauly Shore some cred too. It's
the 30 seconds he was in it.
But those were a golden 30 seconds. That's
Sopranos.
I loved it. He was basically playing that lady at the beginning of From Dusk Till Dawn that was locked in the trunk. Like, that was basically Pauly Shore in this movie. Which, yeah, go for it.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, The Wash. Not recommended unless you're a Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre fan. You'll get a kick out of it. If you want to see
hip hop
Eminem,
fan in general, probably.
Yeah,
because there were a lot of hip hop cameos and shit.
There was some cool little nods. Ludacris is fun to see. Exhibit. Yeah,
Shaq.
it was all right. Yeah. Shaquille O'Neal. If you're a Shaquille O'Neal fan, I mean, you've probably already seen this anyway. So.
Yep. But if you're looking to laugh, you might want to get something else.
Yeah, because this, as a comedy, this blows.
Yeah.
All right, you guys want to talk about your choice now, Nick?
Okay, I chose Bones. 2001 as well. So 2001 was a popping year for Snoop.
Yeah, he managed to act in both The Wash and Bones the same year, which is pretty cool. So.
Yeah, and I just chose it because of the poster. Really, I don't know.
Yeah, the poster's pretty awesome. I remember seeing that poster like on the at I think the video store, and like that poster has always kind of caught my eye. Snoop Dogg does look pretty sinister on it. So.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
right.
This is a horror movie, I guess.
Yeah. I don't know what else
Kind
to call
of
it, really.
I don't know, supernatural, maybe.
Yeah, like horror fantasy, like kind of, I guess like Clive Barker type, but like horror fantasy is, I guess, what I'd call it, and with maybe like a little bit of period drama in there.
Yeah.
There's also a love story. I mean, it's a few different things. So.
One thing I did notice too, that this looked good, like on my, because I have a widescreen for my desktop, and it actually did the whole widescreen, like the ultra wide aspect ratio 21:9, which no movie. This is like the first one of these our movies we've ever seen. I think that's done that.
Oh wow. So you
Especially from
chose-
something from 2001. I was like, what? They restored the fuck out of this movie for some reason.
You chose an epic, little did you know. You
Right?
chose a horror epic.
And it looked good on my screen. It looked like fine and good, and the effects were decent and shit.
Yeah, it looked good on my screen too. I was surprised. It looked like a new movie. I was like, whoa, 2001. Jesus.
The first scene is kind of just, I don't know, a setup scene. Some dude's being chased by a demon dog.
Yeah.
He shoots it, but it like heals itself like Wolverine. And then I don't know, he just closes the door on it, gets away.
Yeah. Which, by the way, I love the dog's performance in this movie. Real quick, I just wanted to say, like,
Yeah, it was a good dog acting here.
yeah, definitely wasn't the best, but it was excellent.
Mm-hmm. It wasn't Twister or whatever his name was.
It was not Twister from what was it? Spy Hard? No, Spy High or whatever.
Was that it? I don't remember.
I forget.
Yeah, Twister from Spy High.
Yeah.
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 Anyway.
And then there's a drug deal, which I noticed they're listening to Eminem as well. They're in their radio car. You're in their car radio.
Yeah, Snoop Dogg gave Eminem a shout out. It's like,
Yep, another
you
one.
were in my wash. I may as well be in your bones.
Yeah. Those two dudes die. It's just some random drug deal. I don't know. We see the cops. They kind of like the main cop that we follow throughout the movie. There's a cop we follow throughout the movie. He's, kind of says, "Hey, let's get out of here." They're not in there with his rookie cop trying to, look around because he heard gunshots or something or yelling or something. He's like, "No, they're not in there. Don't worry." The main cop. So you're like,
Yeah.
why does he not want to check this place out? I mean, you get the haunted vibes and shit because it's like a rundown church looking thing.
Yeah, pretty creepy actually. Like,
Yeah. Nice set.
yeah.
Oh,
I mean, the whole, like, a lot of the sets kind of like, I mean, because the period sets like actually did have some decent amount of detail to them. Like, it did kind of have the period quality of like the 70s or whatever, whenever it was trying to take place. And Pam Grier, like, she even kind of shows up in sort of her original garb, and even gets dressed up in it again later on, which we can get to, but when the time comes. So.
Oh, that dog could morph into shit too. That was pretty cool. Like when he killed those drug dealers, he morphed into a rat and ran away. I was like, oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. Snoop Dogg and dogs morphing, like that goes hand in hand. He's done it in music videos. Like, for whatever reason, he's into dogs morphing.
Yeah. So we get, after all of that shit, the opening thing is we just get a little flashback of what Snoop Dogg's character, Jimmy Bones. He is supposedly some high rolling dude in this neighborhood. He's helping out the neighbors, giving them money and shit.
I think he's like, because they do say that he's a gangster, but I'm kind of thinking he's like sort of like a Robin Hood type.
Yeah.
Who he's like helping out the kids, and he's helping out the poor, and like giving. Yeah.
That's what they were going for, I think.
Yeah.
He's got to do his pimp shtick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, pretty much. He's got the big hat and the cane, and he's snapping his fingers, but it looks cool. I mean, it's like, all right.
Yep. And then so we go to the actual story. That's basically all before the
you don't find out what happens next until later.
Yeah. So the main story follows just a group of kids. Technically, it's all one family plus one dude. Like two brothers, a sister, and then some random friend of theirs.
Yeah.
I'm assuming the older brother, just based on how he acts and shit, was he bought this that building that we see and take place in. He wants to convert it into a nightclub.
Yes.
Where his younger brother could be a DJ. His friend could also be a DJ. They were both DJs.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty funny. It's like, all right, well, why not?
Um, and they're cleaning out the place, getting it ready and shit.
Yeah,
And they find the demon dog, and the sister feeds it a hamburger,
yeah.
so it chills out.
Yeah, as soon as she sees the dog, she's like, oh, we gotta take care of the dog. So of course the movie's gotta have them pairing up with the dog, and it's like, oh, well, this could go somewhere.
Yeah, I was surprised it wasn't gonna kill her right there because it was like growling and had those CGI red eyes and shit. But she was like, "Here you go, here's a hamburger," and then it, like chilled out.
Yeah, I know. Like little did they know they had like a full on Cerberus in their on their hands almost. Like, kind of. It reminded me of what was it, The Omen or whatever. Yeah, The Omen with the dog and the whole thing with that. Like, yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. So they're there chilling out. Spooky type of stuff happens because they want to stay there overnight to get as much work done as possible. Spooky shit happens. There's a little side story with, I don't know, a gangster and the cop. The gangster's, paying off the cop to look the other way on his illegal doings.
Yeah.
And then we get like a kind of tension between, because the cop shows up at the people's house, and like they're I don't know why, I forget why now, but they're like talking outside and shit. And
yeah, there was some tension coming from multiple people. Like, wasn't there a part where like their dad or whatever like confronted them, saying like, how could you buy a house in this neighborhood, like,
yeah,
like that. Yeah.
that was a little bit later on.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
that does happen. Yeah.
Okay. I wasn't sure.
So we just get like a little hint that the bad cop and the dad knew each other.
Yeah.
And then we have the psychic mom and daughter,
Right.
Pam Greer.
Yes.
This is the mom, and I don't know who the daughter was. Her name was Cindy or Cynthia or something.
I didn't catch her name, but it was kind of interesting how like Pam Greer's character, they did the same thing that they do in like Beauty and the Beast with Belle's father, in that who he's kind of crazy, or he's kind of eccentric, but he's still like, he still cares and he's still likable. She's kind of doing the same thing. Like, she's psychic, she's troubled, she has memories of the neighborhood, she's all over the place, and so she is kind of crazy, but they do kind of show that she's like a loving person who sort of cares about her daughter and the situation and stuff. So like, it was cool that the crazy person wasn't just a crazy person, because a lot of cheesy movies like this tend to like fall into that trap, and this one didn't.
Like, she had reason to be protective of their daughter because she knew what happened in that house, because the daughter wanted to hang out with the main character. They start dating or whatever, and she's like, don't go in the house, and the daughter disobeys her several times throughout the movie and does.
Oh, by the way, Zach, I'm sorry. Had you seen this movie before?
I had a long time ago, probably when it first came out.
Yeah. Okay, because it did used to play quite a bit on, like, I think some of the premium channels, I seem to recall. So
yeah, like Cinemax or something.
Yeah, or Stars. Like, it was like one of those movies that sort of was in regular rotation. So yeah. So so this had been the first time you'd seen it since then?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah, I didn't remember anything about it, so it was pretty much first time watch. I remembered a few things, but
nice. All right. Well, yeah, no, feel free to share your thoughts. But yeah.
Okay, so this psychic daughter, she kind of explains the world, like gives a little exposition that like there are two worlds. For every street there are two streets, and every house there are two houses, and she just basically means there's like an underworld right below everything. And she says there's something bad happens right in that spot, a tear in the universe or whatever breaks or whatever, and you kind of get the idea that's what's happening here in this movie at that house, but we don't know what happened yet.
Yeah.
And then we get some more flashbacks before shit happens. I mean, there's gooey demon walls when they're cleaning up. I thought that was really cool, but
Yeah, those were gnarly. Like,
yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty decent effects. Like I didn't remember them being that good, but yeah.
I liked them. Yeah, it looked like really gross. Actually, there was all kinds of stuff in there. There was like a big set of balls resting on a giant spinal cord. There was like all sorts of shit. It was crazy.
Yeah. We get a small flashbacks that actually shows us that Pam Grier was Snoop's girlfriend of some sort. She reads his palm and says, "Oh shit, don't do what you're about to do tonight." There's some deal he was doing. She warns him not to, and he's like, "I'll be fine."
Yeah. He just shrugs her off, like, whatever. Walks away.
That was a quick little one, because then it goes back to them cleaning out the shit. They find a skeleton. The dog does, actually. They find a skeleton, which happens to be Jimmy Bones. Because there was there was a nursery rhyme type thing that went throughout the neighborhood about a switchblade and his diamond ring, and skeleton was just there. We're like, oh shit, that's Jimmy Bones, that's him. And so they don't decide to call the cops right then and there for selfish reasons, more or less, because they said it would halt their production or whatever.
Yeah, they're just impatient. They're too impatient to get the police involved, which I gotta say, that's a new one. I'll give them that. Like,
the friend character, the friend DJ, he steals the ring.
Yeah, which I was like, all right, that guy's doomed.
Yep, he's dead.
Never do that.
Pretty much. As soon as you mess with the bad guy's stuff, then the bad guy messes with you. You know, like nobody learns from the Blair Witch Project. You know, you saw stick figures and you fucking took one of them.
And there's a seance scene that happens that, like, I don't know, the daughters decides to stay overnight, and then the mom's just doing some seance with a bunch of, I don't know, her customers, and then she freaks out, sees shit, and pulls, and the daughter freaks out in bed, pulls her out. Some crazy shit happens with that. Nothing too interesting though.
Yeah, I mean, the thing, it's not that the idea wasn't creepy. It's just we've all seen movies where that kind of thing has happened already. So it's like, okay, well, this part's nothing new.
Was that like the vision where she was like in a waterbed full of blood?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, didn't that happen in like Parents or something like that? I feel like there was another movie that happened.
Yeah.
Maybe Nightmare on Elm Street. I don't remember.
Yeah.
And Death by Temptation do something like that too.
Oh yeah, Death by Temptation did that. Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, okay, there you go. Death by Temptation already did it.
Fuck.
It's still cool though. It's a cool idea. It's just, not original anymore. That's all. Sorry, Bones.
Okay, so this is where the shit starts hitting the fan, really, and we actually learn stuff. So the son, they're basically all done with the club. They put the sign up, and the son's like, "Oh, okay." So I remember why. Now that I'm reiterating, I remember why the cop showed up to the dad's house. It was because somebody bought the house. So the dad owned that house, but he was like, I don't know who bought it. It was just something like our company sold it off, must have, whatever. He didn't realize it was his son because his son kept it a secret, put another name under it or something, and wanted to surprise his dad and said, hey, so he brings him out there, shows him that he's the one that bought the place, spiffied it up, made it a club. and his dad just freaks the fuck out. He's like, no, fuck, like, it wasn't even like he initially was like, I got out of that neighborhood because it was a bad neighborhood, but this was more than just a bad neighborhood. I want you to do better. It was like he was legit freaking the fuck out. He sees Pam Grier across the street. He sees there was a guy in a window across the street as well throughout the movie. I should mention because he's kind of a main character as well.
Yeah, well, like at the
even though he doesn't show much, but yeah, he's at the beginning. Is he the one that shoots the dog?
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
There's the those two guys get pulled in or whatever.
Yeah.
And then,
and he's like, "Hey, get away from there!" But it's
Yeah.
too late, and he just laughs and shakes his head or some shit.
Yeah,
And and Pam Grier hates the dog. They said, "Don't go near the dog." It
yeah,
gives warnings and shit like, which comes into play, of course.
it
But
does.
after the dad freaks out, we get the flashback that reveals everything. So what happened was his dad was there, living in this town. He was a friend of Snoop Dogg, and Pam Grier is there as his girlfriend. It was just some drug deal gone wrong. Basically, these guys were trying to move their way in. Not really a drug deal, but they were trying to take over territory and do some lotto shit, sell some crack or something. And Snoop was like, "No, not now, not here."
Yeah,
so
not my neighborhood.
Yeah. So they kill him, like, because they force Snoop to smoke crack or whatever.
Yeah,
and
it's
then
like this messed up crack that they want to put on the streets for some reason.
Yes, and he freaks out a bit and like just kind of swings his knife at the cop, at the crooked cop that we know. The cop shoots him, then comes up with the idea that they all have to stab him to make everyone culpable or whatever. Or put the prints on the knife and make it harder to figure out who killed him.
Right. That's just brutal.
Yeah, so his bodyguard does it. The main drug dealer does it. And then of course his wife or his girlfriend does it.
Yeah. Although he kind of
pushes himself into it. He makes him
he doesn't let her actually do like, because she doesn't literally kill him. She just is the one who was holding it.
And then he jumped into it.
Exactly. Yeah. So she's blameless.
Yeah. Who am I? So it was the main drug dealer, his bodyguard guy, and Pam Grier, and the bad cop who shot him. Those are all the people are in trouble at this point.
Right. They're doomed.
And then we could get out of that flashback into the club. It's open, people are there dancing, shit's going down, it's looking like a poppin' club.
Then something really gross happens.
Some crazy shit. So where did this? I'm trying to think of at one point. Okay, well, I'll just go into this. The dog sees that Maurice was the friend DJ's name, was wearing the ring.
Yeah.
And the dog transforms into like a hot lady, like an attractive lady, and lures him into a room and eats him.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. And also throughout a couple times throughout the movie, we see when the dog eats, the skeleton of Snoop starts regrowing.
Yeah, kind of like Hellraiser.
Yeah, and then at this point, when he eats all of Maurice, Snoop's back to full-bodied Snoop.
Yeah. Which, by the way, Zach, what did you think of the reanimation effects?
They're pretty cool looking.
Yeah.
Like, it was clearly in reverse and shit, but it still looked cool.
Yeah. It was juicy looking.
Yeah.
Juicy looking gore. but it actually looked like pretty good though. Like it looked like real. Some shots looked a little hokey, but most of it looked
Yeah.
pretty decent though. So
Yeah.
Some gooey eyes and stuff.
yeah, it was like, oh yeah.
Yeah. And so the main character, he goes looking for Maurice because he's been gone a while. He finds him being eaten by the dog.
Mhm.
The dog talks.
Yeah,
He says, what
chaos reigns. Just kidding.
No, he says something. Oh, the gangster of love don't need no fried chicken.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Because there was just like a throwaway line of him. He
Yeah.
calls himself the gangster of love, and there's just a line while they're eating. He's
It's
like,
a
yeah,
reference to-
yeah. The like fried chicken was made by the white man to keep the black man subjugated or whatever. And he was like,
Something like
you're not even black, because he wasn't. He was like a mixed race, a melting pot.
Yeah. So
But
that was
anyway,
fun.
yeah.
Some fun little character moments, although I didn't particularly like most of the characters. I wouldn't say I disliked the characters. I just really the main character, the only character I sort of was most invested in was the mom and daughter. So
Yeah.
which I guess makes sense, but
They're the most interesting ones, yeah.
yeah. And I feel like the movie did spend like a little bit too much time on everybody else. Like I would have actually liked to see like more of that dynamic. And also like I actually thought the flashback scenes were kind of cool, and I could have used more of those, admittedly.
Should have been a 70s set piece the whole movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would have been badass. That would have been a real horror epic. Just make it 2 hours, like have like it just go back and forth, or something like that. Go full on. But
So he finds the dog. The dog throws up all over him, but he throws up maggots all over him.
yeah,
a lot of rice. I could tell, like they
Yeah.
boiled a lot of rice and threw in a little bit of maggots.
yeah. But man, when you saw the maggots, it was like,
Yeah, it was gross. And then it starts, I guess, raining maggots in the club. Everybody evacuates, starts raining maggots. Like it was crazy.
that was gnarly. Yeah.
And then
Oh yeah, there's also like lots of gross little close-ups of people eating food with the maggots.
yeah, like the maggots were dropping out into the beers and onto pizza and shit. And then then it just straight up started raining maggots. And then Snoop, he's back fully. He starts getting up, walking out. He blows up the basement, just torches the place, blows it up, and then it's just pure chaos at this point in the club.
Yeah. Everybody runs away.
I think that there was no more flashbacks right after this point. So it's just basically Snoop hunting down everyone that did him wrong.
Yeah.
He
I'll be right
goes
back.
Oh yeah.
no problem. He takes the ring back from the guy
Yeah.
that took it. So there's the first one, I guess.
Yeah.
His first victim was his bodyguard type dude who didn't want to do it. Like in the flashback, he was like, "I'm sorry, I don't want to do this, but I'm gonna get killed if I don't."
Yeah.
So I thought he was a little harsh with that kill. With his friend. I was like, I would be like, all right, man, I'll break your legs or something, and then walk away.
It did seem a little imbalanced to me. That he kind of, I mean, the way it happened too.
Yeah, because he like kind of just stabbed him real quick and walked away. Whereas like the gangster, he like looked in his eyes, gave a one line. I was like, yeah, stab.
Yeah,
but this the bodyguard clearly didn't want to.
Yeah, so I don't know why he applied the same maliciousness. It's like whatever. It's like it's like I feel the same way about like that. A few revenge movies where some of the revenge just seems a little over the top, and some of it seems like not fully equal or whatever. But whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. So, did he kill him in any cool way? I just wrote down he kills him. I mean, he takes his head, so there's that.
Yeah, well, there's he
Because there were other cool deaths, but
he took that one dude's head.
he took two heads.
Oh, well, that one, but the one head was like trapped in his soul was trapped in his head. Like, I'm carrying your soul around or whatever.
Oh, right. So I guess he doesn't kill or take his friend's head. He just he goes back, so he kills his friend, and then
Yeah.
his next victim is the gangster. Could have these in opposite orders, but his next victim was the gangster.
Yeah.
He kills him in a really cool way. He like he holds up a mirror because he like the gangster shoots him a bunch, goes
Yeah.
right through him because he's a ghost or demon or whatever, and then he holds up a mirror and he shoots the mirror, and then
Yeah.
Snoop uses the mirror like makes some mirror shards fly around and stab him into the wall.
That was cool.
Yeah, some
I
good
also liked how he cut on the pool table and blood like poured out.
Oh right, yeah,
that's
he like
cool.
stabbed the pool
Yeah.
table and blood was coming out. It was cool.
Yeah. Yeah. The movie had some pretty cool ideas. But yeah, that was a pretty cool death scene. And yeah. And so was that guy's head taken?
Yeah, that was the one.
Yeah.
That was, his head was taken, and then he goes to the cop and kills him. Let's see, how does he kill the cop? Oh, he makes the cop actually smoke meth, which gave him like the Matrix mouth thing.
Yeah.
And then he puts him up on a meat hook and just stabs him a bunch.
Yeah.
That's how
cool.
he dies, and he has both of their heads.
Yeah.
And he goes to the dad now. Oh, that's right. The other person that was there was the dad.
Yeah, okay.
During
I
the
remember
flashbacks,
that.
I completely forgot. Yeah, the dad was there.
forgot
He
about that
also
too.
didn't necessarily want to kill him, but was more open to it than his buddy.
Yeah, I agree.
And he shows him the heads of the cop and the gangster and makes him follow him to the club again.
Yeah.
Doesn't kill him right there.
Yeah. I don't know what that, I mean,
Yeah, and he does. Yeah, he does. So you mentioned earlier that the heads are carrying their souls or whatever, so he doesn't want to get rid of them yet.
yeah. It kind of reminds me of Shrunken Heads a little. Yeah. Except not badass like that movie was.
You're right.
Because at least they had superpowers.
Yeah.
So at this point, the mom and daughter duo figure out that Snoop's back and killing everyone that was connected to this murder that happened. And so they go on a rescue mission for the dad, the son, and these two. Snoop chucks the heads into the demon wall, the gooey demon walls. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
and he keeps shoving the dad back in and taking him out, back in, taking him out,
Yeah.
torturing him.
Yeah. It was gnarly. Yeah. Like it actually, even though the idea, like when we're describing it sounds silly, in the movie it's actually like pretty brutal. Like,
yeah. And the mom, she knows things, so like she knows the way to defeat him is they have to get rid of all of his blood that was spilled.
Yeah.
Which they realize is like because he was buried in a dress she was wearing or a shawl or a sweater she was wearing, so they have to burn that sweater and then he'll go away, I guess, because of magic.
Yeah, that's the impression I got. I mean, which I guess it'll do.
Yeah, I mean, something like this, that's all they have, I guess. Yeah.
I mean, why not? Like at that point the movie's already like, all right, we're done with all the kills, done with all the, like, now we got to end this shit.
Yep, because that's basically what happens once the the basement starts collapsing. Snoop takes Pam Grier into like this room filled with candles and shit, and I don't know, made her de-age or whatever, back to the 70s look and everything. The kids go into like this demon world, the demon world they talked about in the beginning of the movie, and find them. They do see like the dad in the goop wall too. The sun does.
I like they were calling it the goop wall.
Yeah.
Ooh. Yeah.
Oh, and they do see.
Oh.
So actually, both sons go with them, and both sons make it down there. But Maurice lures the DJ son, like the less important one, and kills him in the demon
Yeah.
world. And by this point, we figure out that Snoop's the dad of the girl, which
Yeah.
was not too big of a surprise, but they all
Yeah.
they all confront Snoop and the daughters like hugging him, like he says, "Come on, baby girl, we can all live here forever," trying to lure him into the, I don't know, purgatory or whatever.
Yeah. Whatever ghost dimension or demon dimension, I guess. Of course, if it's a demon wall, it has to do with demons because he had to regenerate. Like there had to be some kind of demonic shit going on there. So,
Yep.
So yeah, I guess not a ghost world, but
yeah. And then like those two are kind of under a spell, but the main character snaps them out of it.
Yeah.
They run, and Pam Grier sacrifices herself. Because she realizes at some point Snoop put on the dress on her, and she lights herself on fire.
Yeah.
And then Snoop kind of jumps in to try and save her ish. The whole building collapses. They get out alive, the two kids.
Yeah.
Snoop's
Pam
defeated.
Grier.
Yeah, Pam Grier sacrifices herself to kill Snoop.
It's just funny to say that out loud. But yeah, so okay, so Snoop is Jimmy Bones is defeated.
Or is he?
Oh yeah, all right.
So what happens was too, they were trying to make their escape, the son and the daughter. He jumps down like an elevator shaft. He says, come on, but she's not there. And then she, like, at this point, I was like, what's going on here? Is she going back to save her mom? But then she like kind of ominously walks up to the door. I was like, wait a second, what's going on now? And then like she jumps out, they run out. She's looking a little strange, like ominously strange.
Yeah.
And at the end, like when they say, well, that sucked and everything, it like basically ends with her throwing up maggots on him and shit. And then it cuts to credits. The end.
I love that ending.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it was kind of a strange and scary twist, So I don't think they're going to be. Oh, what was that?
That's Bones for you.
Yes, that was Bones, and I'm pretty sure they're never going to make a second one.
I doubt it.
Nah.
Yeah, they really do. I mean, yeah, Bones 2, like, nah, I wouldn't see it. This is good enough.
Mm-hmm.
This is more than enough, in fact. So yeah, I don't know. What were your thoughts on it, gentlemen?
I thought it was fine. It wasn't anything special, but it wasn't shit. So, the acting was fine for everyone, really.
Okay.
Looked nice. Just not that interesting in general. Just like a, fairly generic kind of shit, but
yeah, for a fantasy horror picture, there's surprisingly little else to say about it other than like the effects are good and some of the ideas are cool, I guess.
Yep.
I don't know, what were your thoughts, Zach?
Pretty much the same. Like it was just like it's okay. It wasn't shit.
Yeah.
Cool effects.
Yes. Yeah, it was no Candyman, but I still enjoyed it for what it was. It was a little silly, a little cheesy, but it delivered on the gore and the gnarliness. So it was Snoop Dogg, I thought honestly he kind of sucked in it. Like I didn't really. I
Yeah.
don't know.
He may have
was-
been the
I guess-
weakest link. Yeah.
yeah, like I didn't mind the scenes like in the present time when he was like all demonic and stuff.
Yeah.
But the flashback scenes, like, I mean, he was well dressed and that's about it. Like otherwise, he wasn't really all that like interesting. Like he just was kind of like generic
Yep. I'd agree
gangster
with
who
that.
happens
Yeah.
to, yeah, generic gangster who happens to be a good guy, I guess, which is sort of, Snoop Dogg's MO, and that's fine. It's just in this movie he didn't really do that great a job playing the character. Like, who is Jimmy Bones beyond this good guy gangster who gets treated dirty and takes revenge in a supernatural hell-raising type of way? Like, you know,
I don't know.
yeah, I feel like we learned more about Pam Grier.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
I don't know. It's all right. I'd give it. I don't know. I liked it more than The Wash though overall as a movie. Like I'd watch this one again.
Yeah.
Probably.
I think so.
Yeah.
Especially since it looked nice.
It did look nice, and I think really the fact that it looked nice probably did help me sort of feel a little more involved in it. So I'd give it a 3. Honestly, I enjoyed it quite a bit.
What would I give it? I guess I'd give it like a. I would give it a 3 too, just because I don't know. They did look good.
Yeah.
and it wasn't bad. Like,
Yeah,
it was just.
it wasn't super impressive, but it didn't make me get pissed or anything. So
I'd give it a 2.5.
okay.
Not quite a 3 for me, but could be maybe.
Yeah. Yeah. Some scary ideas here and there, some fun little visuals. It's good time, Bones. So
Mhm.
all right. Now, I guess before we talk about this next film, do either of you have to use the bathroom?
Yeah, we can take a break if you want.
I actually don't. I just was wondering if either of you guys do.
Keep going.
I'm fine. Yeah.
All right, cool. All right, so my choice for the Snoop Dogg special was a motion picture titled Urban Menace. It
Kind
came
of.
out. What was that?
It was kind of a motion picture.
Yeah, kind of a motion picture. And it was directed by Albert P.M. and I will say that this movie is the reason why it took us this long to finally make this
Was it?
episode.
I thought it was directed by Ice-T.
No, it wasn't directed by Ice-T. Actually, it was directed by Albert Peon. Although I wonder if Ice-T had made it, what it would have been. Oh, and actually, just a side note: the guy who directed Bones. Did you see what else he had directed?
No.
I think, Surviving the Game. I think that was the same director.
What is it?
Yeah,
Oh, I remember we were talking about this before, I think.
Yeah.
Or I at least saw it, I think.
yeah. You remember Surviving the Game with Ice-T?
Yeah, yeah.
Good shit.
Yep. I like that one.
Yeah, that was a good one. Yeah, so yeah, Albert Pian had directed this movie, which kind of made me a little tentative about it, I must say, because Albert Pian is the director of Cyborg, which, if anybody knows me, Cyborg is like really one of my most hated movies. Like it's like one of the only movies I can say I like truly despise, like on a profound level. So it's by the director of Cyborg. So so far this director hadn't been a winner for me at the time that I chose an Urban Menace. And the reason I chose Urban Menace was kind of the same reason you chose Bones, actually. It's because of the cover.
Nice.
Yeah. I remember seeing the cover at the video store years and years and years and years ago and thinking that movie looks badass. And then I kind of just forgot about it. And then I saw like it again. I was like, oh yeah, I remember that exists. And this movie was a pain in the ass to track down. You, Zach, you've got your sources, but Nick and I were SOL, so to speak. And
Did you watch
we
this
had
on
to-
like DVD or Blu-ray or something?
Yeah,
Who,
DVD.
me?
Okay.
Oh, you? Yeah. Yeah.
That was like one of those shitty 4-packs. One of the other movies on it was another Albert Pion one.
Oh, how funny. Okay. All right. Well, I guess we got to buckle up because I have a feeling we may need to view a few more of his movies before we have an overall opinion on him. But so far, well, okay. This movie is not. It turns out it's not easy to find. It's not on streaming. Nick and I had to delve. We had to go to some dark places. We had to travel.
We had to sail the 7 seas.
Exactly. We had to travel to some sketchy areas before we were finally able to track down a copy of Urban Menace. But
I see why it was so hard to fucking find.
Yeah. I mean, I don't even know where we I kind of blacked out after getting punched in the face there by that one dude, but I'm assuming he gave us this copy. And it was expensive too. It was expensive to travel to another country. It really was.
Yeah.
I would say it wasn't worth traveling the world to track down a copy of Urban Menace. Even not even talking about the quality of the movie. I already decided that I hated this movie before I even saw it. Let's see, how else can I make this story good? Well, okay, anyway, basically, bottom line, my question to you, Nick.
Yeah.
Was it worth it to you to go so far out of our way to find this movie that is otherwise unavailable, except on Amazon, which we could have done, but fuck Jeff Bezos, whatever. Anyway, yeah, was this movie worth the trouble?
No, not at all. This was honestly just like straight shit. This was one of the worst ones I've seen. Like, I don't understand what happened or how this was made or what Zach, what did it look like for you? Like, was it off the filter? Was it like just some fucked up? Okay,
yeah, it's complete shit.
Yeah. All right, so it wasn't just like the copy we got. All right, yeah. It was literally hard on the eyes to watch.
It gave me a headache. Like, I kind of gave up watching after 20 minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, the movie was only about 20 minutes.
Well, there was only about 20 minutes worth of story.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, I would have to say on a technical level, this is definitely one of the worst, easily one of the weakest things we've watched. I wouldn't say it's quite as bad as Things, but pretty damn close as far as being like, am I even looking at a movie here?
I had to like squint my eyes to see what I was seeing, like, because it was just so blurry. Like that's what we're talking about. It's like there was some filter they threw over this entire movie that made it look like complete garbage.
I have no idea what happened with this movie, but whatever happened, the visuals were way overexposed. You couldn't even make out the facial features of these characters. Like, and also like the glare was heavy too, along with the overexposure. The glare was like blinding lights throughout the course of this movie, reflecting on people's faces. Like, I'm pretty sure pretty much all the actors in this movie, yeah,
in quotes, heavy quotes there.
I mean, I'm guessing that all the actors, quote unquote, in this movie have a darker skin complexion than I do, but you wouldn't be able to tell from this movie because everybody looks like a ghost. Yeah. Yeah. Whoever did the visuals botched job, severely botched. Snoop Dogg looked like a video game character. He plays a preacher. Oh shoot. Okay, I guess I didn't write down his name, but
Caleb.
Caleb. Preacher Caleb. He's a preacher who's taking care of a rundown neighborhood, and he apparently he cares very, very much about the kids in the neighborhood in particular, because he says that multiple times in that monologue. And he basically he's there to keep the place clean and sturdy, but unfortunately he happens to be in another one of those future sucks type of movies, where he lives in the ganglands, and basically wherever he lives, it's been taken over by gangs. So his church gets burned down. And oh, by the way, I should say that Ice-T plays the I guess the storyteller. I can't,
narrator. Yeah.
I guess he's the narrator.
He gave us a little blurb at the front too. That was funny.
Yeah.
It was like, if you don't like the words, like fuck, shit, ass, and then
Fuck,
a bunch
shit,
of violence.
motherfucker, pussy ass dick. Like, yeah.
This movie will offend you.
Yeah. And by the way, fuck you. Yeah. What were you gonna say, Zach?
Oh, nothing. I just totally forgot about that.
Yeah, that's the best part of the movie.
Yeah, that was unfortunately that was
Offended by blood, guts, which, by the way, there really wasn't very much blood and guts in this movie. So Ice-T straight up lies to you in the first sentence of this movie.
Yeah. There's the exposition crawl too at the beginning that basically, because we don't get any of this Snoop Dogg history at all really until far into the 50-minute movie.
Yeah, we get a ton of footage that looks as though it was filmed for a different movie. And I say that based on the fact that none of it's overexposed. And then it cuts to present day, and DJ Storm or TJ Storm, whatever his name is, he plays who's his character? King, who he's just some innocent guy, I guess, who wants to get out of the ganglands, but he's been forced by them to go on mission after mission, and he's
also working with an undercover cop, or he's a, what do they call him, an informant or something? I don't fucking know.
Yeah, an informer. No relation to Snow, because I know that's one of everybody's favorite weird songs. But anyway, so he's it's like, all right, well, you can go, but first you got to do one last thing for us. So it turns out that Preacher Caleb is holed up in a warehouse, I guess, and is taking people down, people who are just stupid enough to wander into this warehouse, I guess. But it's causing enough problem for Fat Joe and Big Pun are in this movie.
This is the shittiest. This was insane to me. This was wild. This was insane.
Yeah.
The acting on, I mean, Fat Joe didn't do anything, but Big Pun, what the fuck was going on with him?
I don't know, he was making me laugh.
Me too, so hard. They were this was full of close-ups as well. I couldn't tell during the first, if they were even in the same room when they were talking. Big Pun was dead-faced, no express. The version we had didn't have subtitles, but we fucking needed them. Yeah, I could not understand.
DVD didn't even have them.
Darn it!
I have no idea 99% of what Big Pun was saying, and you could clearly tell he was reading off cue cards as well, because it was straight up close up him, and his eyes would just dart off to the left. He would look back at the camera and say his lines, look over, say his lines. It
was just one shot of Big Punisher just saying these random lines. I don't even think he moved throughout the whole movie, except for toward the end. I wouldn't be surprised if they shot all of his material in this movie in the span of an hour.
Yes, easily. Him and Fat Joe could have. Yeah. I think Fat Joe may have had a little more at the end, but with him and Big Pun, that had to have been a day shoot max.
I think so.
Max. And
like you said, you couldn't really make out much of what he was saying. But the shit he was saying that you could make out was funny as fuck. He at one point he's like, if you don't do it, I tell you, I'll kill you and your mother hard, or something like that. It's like, what's that mean?
Yeah.
So TJ Storm and company go to this warehouse, actually something happens before that. Somebody else gets killed. I guess it doesn't really matter, because pretty much everybody gets killed by the same guy. And actually, at first it starts off, they go to the warehouse, and at first it starts off like he's kind of like doing real sneaky about it, like, but then eventually he kind of just doesn't really bother trying to sneak around anymore. He just starts running around blasting people. And also I couldn't help but notice that a lot of the people he was blasting were like the same people, like the same stunt doubles were getting repeated in like multiple shots.
Yeah. And there was I also
yeah.
think there was a few times where he was like counting they made a few points where they were counting bullets and said, give me like 3 bullets and I'm almost out.
Yeah.
Give me that mag. Like I didn't
Yeah.
count it because I was like, there's no way they're keeping track, but they're making us think they are.
Yeah, I mean, he kills so many people throughout the course of this movie that it doesn't even really matter. Like, there's no way to keep track because they repeat so many shots. So he could be killing the same person. They just decided to use a different take, and you can't tell the difference between an alternate take and a sequence extension. You know, so it gets really confusing, and it also isn't helped by the fact that I think a lot of the shots of him killing these people, like, I'm pretty sure a lot of those shots weren't even Snoop Dogg. Like from the back,
I don't think he was in most of the movie.
Yeah, like the shape of his head looks absolutely nothing like that one dude who was like punching that one guy. Like I actually like it was bad. And then there was one where there were at least a few shots toward the end where you could tell they just literally superimposed Snoop Dogg's like head on whoever, and it looked so bad. Like it was unbelievable.
Yeah. I'm wondering, like, because I thought I saw like there was a behind. I don't know if it was in this movie or Bones that was like had the over the shoulder of Snoop. And I was like, oh, this isn't Snoop. That didn't like you see half his face. I think it may have actually been Bones, but
yeah,
they had to double in. But
yeah. I mean, as awesome as Snoop Dogg is, even he uses stunt doubles, I guess. So, you know, which makes sense because I mean, he can't hurt himself too badly, you know, because
I don't even think this was like a stunt thing. I think this was just like they just needed somebody there, and Snoop just didn't want to show up or something, or like they wanted to film it in like 3 days, and Snoop was busy for 2 of them.
Yeah, they ran out of time. Well, actually, apparently, okay, so like. There was something I was reading about this movie after I'd already watched it, and it's like I found out about it, and it's like, oh yeah, of course that makes sense. So I guess Albert Pian actually filmed this at I think he filmed it first of all, he filmed it in a different country.
Yeah, I read that it was some European. They actually filmed it in a European rundown warehouse, is what I heard.
It's like Amsterdam or somewhere, and they shot this along with 2 other movies.
Yeah.
Which do you have those 2 other movies, Zach?
Is that what's on the
one of the other movies on that 4-pack is one of these other movies.
Oh.
And it also stars Ice-T.
Ooh. All right.
So they just took a week to film 4 or 5 movies or whatever.
Yeah, I guess Albert Pian works expediently. You know, he's like, well, all right, we got a couple hours here. You know?
I mean, this movie was literally 112 minutes with 20 minutes of opening, like 10 minutes opening credits, 10 minutes closing credits. So we didn't break an hour mark of.
Well, you know, there's a problem when the credits roll slowly. Like it's like, okay, now they're really trying to extend because they're trying to hide the fact that there's only about 20 people in the credits.
Yeah, and long opening credits I hate them, and I just know, like, after a few minutes, I was like, wait a second, this is going on real long.
Yeah, it was such bullshit. It was like, it wasn't much of a movie. Okay, so should I just I mean, I guess I, you know, may as well put us all out of our misery and just finish with the plot, quote unquote, what little there is to say.
Yeah, I even wrote down here, filmed separate ? Because Snoop was just like, there were some scenes where you'd see Snoop just watching shit, and I was like, I don't know if Snoop was even in there. Like, just how it was cut and edited and shit. I feel like almost none of these actors were fucking in the same room.
Yeah, there were a few close-ups of Snoop with the guns, but in general, the action sequences were not extensive enough, for it to really like necessary. Like you can't even really tell if it's Snoop or not because like
It was Malignant.
Yeah, pretty much.
It looked like straight up the Malignant monster because he was just in a big ass fucking long lanky overcoat and doing the same fucking moves. He was like slicing and dicing and doing these punches and shit. It was like, oh, god damn.
I know. And
Malignant must have saw this.
It's possible. James Wan, he's like, how do I bring this to the mainstream? How do I yeah. Because honestly, those scenes in Malignant, oh my god, I laughed so fucking hard at those. Like that movie was like one of the funniest movies I've seen. Like
it was funny. I thought it had a good fight scene in that jail though. That was a cool fight scene.
Oh, it was great, but it was hysterical too. Like,
yes.
It was so like, oh my gosh. Yeah, it's pretty much just Snoop Dogg. Eventually Snoop Dogg kills enough people that the warehouse is mostly empty. TJ Storm, he lets him go because he's like, all right, well, you're a good guy. Like, really, there's no other reason. And also, like, at some point, he also says, you were good to them kids. And Snoop Dogg's like, yeah, I love them kids. And he says that again and again and again. It's like, we get it. Like, you're supposed to be like the saint of Avalon or whatever. And then he kills Fat Joe. He kills Big Pun. But okay, this part was weird. So he rips out Fat Joe's heart, and then he feeds it to Big Pun. Is that what's supposed to be happening there? And then also, if he's supposed to be a pure good preacher, why does he turn into a demon at the end? Like,
I don't think he was. He was the one that was in the fire of the church. I think he was I don't know, similar to Bones, some type of demon that got killed.
Yeah, like this movie was kind of like I guess I could call it like the rough draft. The Bones rough draft is what I call Urban Menace.
And there definitely was something to do with hearts being ripped out of other victims too. So he was doing something with the hearts, I think, similar to Bones's heads, soul shit. Yeah,
when he ripped the heart out of Fat Joe's chest, which actually, by the way, I will give this movie a little credit. The sound effects in that scene were pretty good. I mean, they went on a little too long, and they were a little cheesy, but otherwise though, it did sound like pretty gnarly. Like it did sound like somebody's heart was getting ripped out of their chest. So so the movie did, as far as the sound design goes, I guess it wasn't too bad. And also, the soundtrack, of course, I guess isn't half bad either. I mean, yeah, but yeah, I understood the heart ripping thing. I just don't understand why he was feeding it to Big Pun.
I missed that part. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Maybe it was just my imagination, but I'm definitely sure I didn't imagine Snoop Dogg turning into a demon at the end, right?
He was some type of monster, yeah.
Okay, so he was a preacher demon.
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. So was he a good preacher then? Really? I mean, maybe he was good until.
I think so. He was only killing like the bad gangsters and shit. It seemed.
Okay.
He saved because he did let the main character go and shit like that. He like said, "You're good. Fucking get out of here."
Like that's pretty much almost exactly what he said. Am I wrong?
No. No, you're cool. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. And yeah, I guess that's kind of just it. Like then the movie just sort of stops, and we hear some more Snoop Dogg. Ice-T throws some more fuck yous at us, which I took happily because at this point Ice-T was pretty much the only character in the movie I liked. If you could even call him the character. Yeah, the narrator is my favorite character.
The only one whose face we could see, you mean?
Yeah, he's the only character in the film whose face we could see clearly. Because we sure couldn't see Snoop Dogg's face very clearly. Yeah, that's kind of it. I think I think there's pretty much no question about how all three of us feel about this picture.
No.
And Zach, you said you could barely even finish it.
Yeah, I stopped paying attention.
Yeah, it is hard for a movie about that's literally nothing but a guy killing people in a warehouse. It's surprisingly hard to focus on.
Yeah, the only thing that saved it was its short ass running time. I was like, oh no, if it's gonna do this, but in like most of the movie too was people just looking for people in a warehouse or being chased in a warehouse. That was
Yeah,
like 90% of it. The other 10% was Fat Joe and Big Pun reading at the camera.
basically. Yeah, it was pretty much trash. Although
There was one fucking funny thing that I wrote down was they were in a dark hallway and they flicked a lighter. It didn't do shit. I laughed so hard during that. Like, did it make the hallway darker when he did it? It was hilarious.
That was funny. I laughed. I laughed kind of throughout the whole movie. I laughed mostly because I felt so silly for traveling the country in search of Urban Menace.
Right, we went through so much work for this shit.
Yeah, like at the end of the day, maybe it would have been worth giving Jeff Bezos my $5 for Urban Menace, or actually, really better yet, it would have been better to just not see this movie. Period.
Yeah, it wouldn't have gone to Bezos either. I think it was like,
oh yeah, that's true.
Sellers, well, like a portion of would have gone to him, but it was like random DVD sellers that had it.
Yeah, no, you're right. I'm just being a silly, what do you call them these days? Silly.
Some of it would have gone to him. They would have taken 10% or whatever they take.
Yeah, he would have gotten one of my Lincolns, one of my pennies. So.
Yeah.
According to the Wikipedia on the DVD, I didn't notice this, but it says there's an option of skipping the movie and just listening to Ice-T rap.
Well then, damn.
That's funny. Because it was a lot of Ice. I think it was mostly just Ice-T's rap. I don't remember even a Snoop Dogg song, really.
I think there was one song toward the end that could have been Snoop Dogg's, but yeah, I'm pretty sure the most of it was just Ice-T.
I have to check the DVD for that now.
Yeah, I'm curious. So like
that's hilarious. Yeah. Don't watch this movie. Don't watch this movie. Just go listen to some Ice-T.
Yeah, if you're gonna watch the movie, watch the music only soundtrack, I'm assuming, and put it on the background, but don't look at the TV because you'll go blind with the lights.
It was so fucked up.
Yeah. I would actually have to say I like this more than Cyborg, honestly, as a movie. I know that sounds insane, like I'm a crazy man for saying that.
I gotta watch Cyborg again now.
Well, all right, well, yeah, maybe I do too, but I remember hating that movie so much that I was like crying. That's how much I hated Cyborg. So, like, there's a scene where Jean-Claude Van Damme gets crucified for like 20 minutes. But, yeah, I don't know. So, are there any lessons to be learned from this Urban Menace mishap?
I don't know.
Maybe
don't watch Albert Pyun movies.
Yeah. Don't be an urban menace to society while washing your bones in the hood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. I guess that's really all that I have to say about Urban Menace.
Yeah. That's about all there is. There's nothing to this movie except for shit.
What do you give it?
One, I guess. Like, I didn't hate it as much as Food Fight, I will admit, just because Food Fight hurt my eyes slightly more than this movie. And also,
I'd watch that any day over this piece of shit.
Yeah. Oh, okay. All right. I'll give this a 1. I'll tell you what I'll give this movie a 1 for. I'll give it a 1 because I did find Big Pun to be pretty funny, even though I could barely understand what he was saying. I still laughed at what he was saying.
He wouldn't open his mouth when he was talking.
He barely opened his mouth. He like mumbled his lines. like every single one of them. You know, R.I.P. You know, no disrespect, but
Yeah.
wasn't your finest performance. You know, I think you had a better one in you. But yeah, okay. But I would give this movie a little bit of props for that, and for the sound design and the soundtrack. I mean, I don't know. I've seen so much garbage. Like my standards for like hardcore gangster Z grade pictures are pretty low. Like I've seen Hip Hop Locos, which you want to talk about unwatchable. Like that's like that movie makes this movie look like Bones. So yeah, that's all I'll say about Hip Hop Locos. Yeah, I'll leave it at a 1. I'll be generous to the Urban Menace.
Yeah, I'm just gonna give it a half.
I'm
that's
giving it
fine.
a half as well.
That's fine. You can give it a half. That's cool.
And this is not one I would be generous about.
No.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah, I still, you know, I will definitely say that I don't recommend. I mean, to me,
No.
1 isn't really that generous anyway. It's just when I compare it to the half-star movies in my mind, I think I would. This one does kind of tip the scale just a little bit for me, just a tad. So
Okay.
Interesting.
yeah, but I don't know. Do either you have anything more you want to say about Urban Menace?
No.
How about
No,
fuck you, Tristan, for choosing this movie?
it was interesting to watch. I'll give it that. I mean,
Yeah.
for this podcast at least.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I guess that concludes our Snoop Dogg special. Unfortunately, it had to end on a whimper rather than a bang. But we did learn valuable lessons from Snoop Dogg in the meantime, and yeah, what more can we ask for? So
Yeah.
All right. Well, do either of you have anything else you'd like to say, or?
No.
I don't think so.
Oh,
Yeah.
just the one character, that
Ooh.
fucking dude with the ponytail. The ponytail and like the eyebrows that were tattooed on his, like he had one that was like straight up tattooed, like he was like raising an eyebrow, and one was like covering his eyelid, and I was like, that guy's fucking interesting.
Yeah, I don't know what that was all about.
Right? Who the fuck was that?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But-
that's yeah.
Yeah, that's my
Dystopian
final
future.
thought.
Yeah, that's your final thought. The guy with the ponytail was interesting.
Yeah.
All right, well, I guess that's it. So until next time. Oh, do we want to talk about what we're thinking about doing next time, or should we save that?
You can talk about it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. So yeah, so we're gonna be doing a top films of the year list probably pretty soon. You know, and either top 5 or top 10. I we'll see, I guess, if we can decide on if we can even come up with 10 individually, because I might be able to, I don't know. But yeah, we'll do a top movies list of 2021. So
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I might have to do some catching up. Mhm.
yeah, I guess you could also, maybe if there were movies that came out last year that you saw recently, maybe, or something, I don't know, you could throw those. We
I'm
can be
gonna at
flexible.
least put a series in. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. All right, excellent. Well, I guess, yeah, have a good night, everybody, and yeah, peace.
Yeah. Have a good one.
See ya.